conspiracy theories. Let's talk about it. We're the Faffcast, and we're back. We got Blake, Garrod,
Hi.
Daniel, Evan, and Liam. Everybody say hi.
Hello.
Right, we're
Alright.
gonna waste no time. This is serious, right? So we got the first conspiracy theory is mine, right?
It's mine!
So there's this conspiracy theory that there was a conspiracy theory called Project MK Ultra. And no, it is not, according to this website, it's not the misspelled secret recipe to McDonald's news hamburger, but it was supposedly a CIA. Shut up! It was the website, okay? But supposedly it was a series of CIA experiments in which they tried to figure out how to control your mind. Over 100 sub-projects were authorized under the MK Ultra heading, though the documents on many of those have been destroyed. And according to it, they used a form of LSD to see if it controlled minds. What do you think? Do you think the CIA did it? Do you think they were little...
Callum, why do you sound like you're constantly shouting?
Yeah, if you got free LSD for signing up for that, I would have fucking done it.
Yeah, I would have done it as well.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
I would be down.
If I got free... What do you think they would have done?
The idea of mind control is very much plausible, right? Like we like enter state of unconsciousness whenever we sleep or when we fucking die. Like it's very easy to like manage brain functions based off that. People can already do it by like hitting parts of the brain that can like spark different nerves and spark different muscles to do stuff. Like mind control by physical means is probably very plausible.
Yeah, I could see, but you see, like deleted.
Look, guys, I'll be honest. I think if the government did like find out how to do mind control, I don't think they would tell everyone, being like, "Oh, we can do mind control."
Hey guys!
It's not the fact, but like rumors leak, and like there's gonna be someone who was part of it and
like a whistleblower
spoke out or something about it. Like, I mean,
but
it
then they
is
die.
possible. Like, none of us, I'm presuming, have done LSD, but it does fuck with the mind.
You can only hope.
Especially if it's in the hands of the CIA, who probably have like top chemists that like.
That's some good shit. That's some good shit.
Making some good. But like. The thing is, mind control. So, what kind of mind control would it be, though? It's like in the movies where you tell someone to do shit and then they do it, like jump off a wall and they jump off a wall.
I don't think it would be like that. I think the physical mind control, where like you can move their body, by having a computer hear what your command is, and then like hitting parts of their brain to make them do it without them thinking. It's not going to be like a them thinking.
Right.
So brainwashing they've already done brainwashing.
Have they?
Have they?
Yeah, but brainwashing and mind control are different.
Yeah, they are different, but you can still be
very different.
If you've played Black Ops 1, you're an expert on brainwashing.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
The numbers.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Yeah.
What was that actually about?
It's about the numbers were essentially the name of the ship that where the stuff was.
That's where the number station was, and they were like sending the numbers to like Mason or something, and he was brainwashed to kill John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
really?
I got some hip news for you guys. Right? I tricked you. This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was proved. Right?
What?
Oh, so let me speak. If you listen to late night talk radio, then you probably already heard of Project MK Ultra. Paranoid schizophrenics from coast to coast like to call in to recount their harrowing tales of psychic violation at the hands of the CIA.
Psychic violation.
They filled it with my brain.
Brain molestation.
You're raped by a bunch of
brain rape. Turns out the schizophrenics got something right though, because Project MK Ultra was an actual series of experiments started on April 13th, 1953. You can decide for yourself whether or not the late night radio callers are actual victims of these experiments, though we would like to suggest that if they are telling the truth, it's strange that the CIA would only experiment on nocturnal conspiracy nuts. The project started out as a response to rumors of communist mind control being used on American prisoners from the Korean War. Afraid of being left in the enemy's pseudo-scientific dust, the CIA quickly jumped on the mind control bandwagon. It's like just a massive group. Just come on, guys, let's go do some mind control.
Get some
Just like-
LC and hook up some good stuff.
It's good to know that the CIA are keeping with the trends.
Yeah.
Also, they're going to be researching how they can take
this
advantage of
brainwashing
the
is going
flaws.
viral, bro. We gotta get on.
All the cool
yeah.
kids were doing it.
All the communist guys are doing it. Why can't we do it?
All the
However,
clever
I
kids
was-
are doing the mind control.
I was
However-
about to say. Oh, never mind. You go ahead. Go on.
Alright. However, they got their procedures wrong in one crucial aspect. Instead of experiment on enemy prisoners that the national media wouldn't miss, they decided to go ahead and started jamming probes and shooting drugs into unwitting United States, just fucking raping them, you know?
Hey you.
Ah.
Oh,
Fun.
Suck it. Nice.
Did we mention that these experiments resulted in at least one death? Oh my god! Or that experiments done on people seeking treatment for minor psychological.
Oh, what was that? You're like,
issues.
oh my god.
Oh, lol!
Reading from the article. He's just
Oh
reading.
my god, in the
Yeah, I'm so
That's-
glad
that's like
that you
in
literally
brackets.
haven't used a single word of your own. You should
No,
have been
I was-
reading this.
I was just explaining. Shut up! Or that experiments
explain,
done on people seeking.
Literally.
Or that experiments done on people seeking treatment for minor psychological issues such as anxiety often cause them to suffer permanent comas and/or incontinence. What? Fuck it, I can't speak English.
See, that's why you use your
That's
own
what
words.
yeah, that's what
Your own
Colin's
words.
actual
Or
words
that the
was using.
Okay, so basically the CIA got a bunch of mentally fucked people and shoved LSD in them. Okay.
Callum, didn't you say it was 4 words long?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but like
Allegedly, but they admitted to
apparently
it.
it was
Apparently.
proved anyway. Anyway.
But did the mind
there
control
you
work
go.
though? Like, do you think it
So
worked?
normally,
Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We don't.
We're not even in America. Like, what?
But yeah, they would have to be really sloppy if they chose fucking mental people to, and like people who love conspiracies to do it with, you know, because they wouldn't choose those because then they would just speak instantly. So they'd have to check like people who are psychologically fucking unstable or shit, you know.
Then again, right? They'd be the people are like least likely to believe because it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf kind of thing.
Yeah, like. Well, no,
Yeah,
not really.
no, if
not
a
really.
per-
I'm sure they
if
shout
it-
about getting mind controlled all the time.
No, if a person is insane already and it's like, I'm not insane, then it's like, that's part of the insanity, is that they don't think they're insane. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well,
It kind of would make sense, especially if another ideology is doing it. But like at the same time, they'd probably do it because they would know that since their mental health, they would just be like, "Oh my god, this guy's just fucking crazy." Like nobody would believe him, you know. But they did. They believed all of them, and now the CIA is what does CIA stand for again?
Central Intelligence Agency.
Central-
Yeah.
Little degree smart.
Or-
girls.
Didn't you know
cows
that?
in action.
No, I
Cows in,
did.
cows in action.
Cows in action.
Cows in.
No one talking about cows in action.
Cunts in authority.
Books are so bad.
I like mine though. I like the cunts in authority kind of name. Like,
There was also, while I was looking for a conspiracy theory, there was another one where it was just Willy Wonka is just the child's depiction of Saw, which would like
I can see that.
I
a
can
little
see
bit.
it.
A little bit, but obviously that's not what they were going
yeah,
for.
and Willy Wonka.
Well, you
was
never
just
know.
fucking- Well, like, wouldn't you get like they just well no, because not
That would be
really,
great
'cause
marketing.
They're not, yeah, because they're not really set. They don't have set challenges, but they also have like
They're just fucking dumb.
it's just really
I
fucking
love how
spoiled.
like I love how nobody notices it, but the Oompa Loompas are just like when a kid fucking dies in the movie,
They just sing
they just have to cover it up. they just have to cover it up while Willy
Bum,
Wonka just
bum,
goes off
bum,
at the other
dun,
children.
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun.
Just,
So yeah,
Fucking pop.
that's fun. So
Yeah.
normally we would rate these out of 10 on believability, but seeing as it's fucking
But
proved
the
because
thing is-
Callum decided to not do the thing.
Callum was the one who was like, "Oh, we should rate it on how believable it is," and
I
then
didn't.
he
No,
was
I
the
didn't.
one
Yeah.
who was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, I didn't say we should rate it.
Well, yeah, but like
I did.
still, you pick a conspiracy theory that's already been
But
solved.
I wanted to get that.
You
know, I
didn't.
was
Okay,
like,
look, you
ah.
would have gotten us, Callum. You
I
would have
got
gotten
you.
us if you kind of
I
just
know.
didn't like say it immediately afterwards while keeping the same tone.
Gotcha.
She was like,
yeah, well,
you
I
went like
wanted
this.
to- moving on.
And guess what? Oh, it's real!
Okay,
Okay,
can we move on then?
Alright,
Yeah,
mine's
fine.
pretty
Can I
short.
do my
Mine's,
one? Mine's about Jews.
okay.
Mine's a short though,
Mine's
so
about
we'll
the
go on
Sonic
to-
the Hedgehog movie.
My one's fairly short.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because can we leave the Jew one till latest and then, like, if,
My
like,
one's pretty short too.
if
Can I do
you-
mine after Evans?
Yeah, because
Okay, well, I do mine because mine's really, really
if a
short.
person working at YouTube watches the video, they'll have to go through all of it.
They probably
So,
don't watch it though. They just like have a bot to
one
read the
watches our
captions.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one watches their videos.
Let
Let
alone
alone
people
you.
in there.
Subscribe! Oh my god! Subscribe! We're trying to hit subscribers. So come
Oh my
on.
god.
Okay,
Shut up.
Subscribe.
So will I start mine? Will I do mine?
Oh wait, man, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
We
Now.
get to 100. If we get
Here
to
we
100
see Garot doesn't
subscribers,
listen.
If we get to 100 subscribers, Callum will do an ass review.
I'm into that. I'll do a dick reveal at 20.
Damn. Oh.
No,
okay.
you won't.
Okay.
Okay, so do we start? Should we do my one?
Yeah,
go
go
for it.
ahead.
Yeah.
So this one's about a first century Roman emperor named Nero, right? He died in
Isn't that the guy from
68
Devil May Cry?
I don't know, man.
It is, but like,
He died in 68 AD, right? So the common belief as of late 5th century, it was either the case of several pretenders who posed as leading. Okay, so people basically, once Nero died, people thought, oh, he'd rise from the dead afterwards because he was such like a big like rebellious figure, and
So rebellious, he refused to die.
so like
Was
loads,
muted.
loads of people posed as Nero, like leading on different rebellions. Several variations of the legend exist, playing both on hope and fear of Nero's return. The earliest written version of this legend is found in the Sublime Oracles. It claims that Nero did not really die, but fled to Parthia.
That's where I would go.
sounds, yeah, this sounds very.
What a fucking genius.
This sounds very similar to another conspiracy theory from where he would amass a large army and would return to Rome to destroy it.
Wait. So let me get this right. Nero is it's someone dressed as Nero, but the conspiracy is that Nero, the guy dressed as Nero, was Nero.
So Nero was
He just pretended
like,
to die.
Nero was a Roman emperor
He
who was
pretended
like
to die and then came back as himself.
yeah, no, that's the entire thing. Like they thought he'd like be
A
reborn
monster.
several times. So apparently he was reborn, like, well, quote unquote reborn 3 times.
He did that for the boys, like that's
To lead,
savage.
to lead rebellion.
Yeah.
He got it for the boys.
He did that for he faked his death and then came back as himself. Just to prove the boys.
The boys were just like, hey boy, just
Hey boy,
fucking-
come on, like.
come on, resurrect yourself, like. What's
And
the
he was
crack?
like, alright, yeah.
So we will now a couple times, and then I gotta go. My mum's cooking bacon and cabbage for dinner, so I have to fucking go at like 6. Anyway,
Okay. Can I keep reading?
How do you manage to kill the jokes? Like, how do you manage to stop it every time in its tracks? Like, completely shut it down.
It's like the guy from Skins. It's just like, yeah, guys. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
And
guy
everyone just
from
looks
Get
at him
Out.
like, what the fuck?
The guy from Get Out when he gets way
Yeah.
too
I
into
really
it. Yeah,
think
it's good.
we should make a whole new
Posh
YouTube
Kenneth.
series of Callum's kill jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
guys,
with cabbage, am I right?
Call Callum Posh Kenneth, like from the guy from Skins.
Good. You know, for context, you're gonna have to include every one of these, like on screen, to just so they know what we're talking about.
Just dancing
They know
across
what's
the
happening
streets,
while I'm trying
spiraling
to
about.
talk.
But
Okay, at least
Yeah.
so at least 3 of Nero's imposters emerged leading rebellions. The first who sang and played the guitar or lyre, and whose face was similar to that of the dead emperor, appeared in 69 AD.
Nice.
During the age of be zealous. During the reign of Titus, where there was another impostor who appeared in Asia and also sang the accompaniment of a lyre and looked like Nero, but he too was exposed. 20 years after Nero's death, during the reign of Dominican, there was a third pretender supported by the Parthians who hardly could be persuaded him to give up, and matter came almost to war. So imagine if like a load of like Elvis impersonators started wars.
That's exactly what that is like. It's exactly akin to that. Okay, I think you're gonna like my one.
Okay.
So
I also think
well,
mine's
like,
probably the
if
best,
if
obviously.
no, but if Nero, right, if Nero faked his death and like it's just like, oh, what the fuck would the point be of
What would Jesus do?
Nero faking his death? It would just be like kind of just to make himself depict himself as like a god, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, look, I
So-
resurrected.
And that's
So guys, what do you think out of 10 believability wise?
Well,
Like,
isn't it a thing that
Given
actually
the
happened?
facts.
a solid.
Well, it-
No, the three rebellions happened, but the conspiracy theory is that one of them actually was Nero.
Nah.
A
Nah.
solid 2, probably 1 or 2.
One or
Whichever one
I
was the
would-
Nero, like if Rani, how long
last-
after?
the
How long
last
after
one-
was the
The
like?
last one was 20 years. The other two were like 1 year. The last one was 20 years after the death.
I the
Probably
first
as
two were definitely
Like-
not him because they're like
Yeah.
in different complete areas. But the third one probably, but that's still 20 years. How
Yeah,
old
the
was he when he died?
Last one had financial support by the Parthian Empire.
Sorry.
Well, like how old was he when he died?
Why is Callum dying in the
Callum's
background?
laughing at a minion Homer. Guys, stop fucking making memes into the fucking podcast. I don't.
He's going to have to like. He's going to have to edit these into the thing.
Or I could just edit this out. I could edit.
Whenever we're laughing at them, I just have to be on the screen.
Oh my god! And I don't.
This is so
It's gotta
much
be like a really small
Cock-
Sorry, but this podcast feels so awful now. He's taking the piss out of it so much.
Okay, so
I'm not invested in this at
but
all.
okay, so Nero, right? So you know, with the 20 years after one, I couldn't see that because he'd probably be dead anyway by then.
How old was he when he
Is
died?
that he died, and is that he actually died, and then
He actually died, but the conspiracy theorist was that he was going to like rise again and start more rebellions because that was
Right,
his kind of
Jesus.
thing. Yes,
I think like it's probably like a 2.
Oh my god,
That
guys!
it's
Can we
happened,
please
like,
stop putting
yeah.
fucking?
Oh, by the way, can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In later forms of the legend, among many early Christians, the legend shifted to a belief that Nero was an antichrist.
Oh
yeah.
Ooh, now it's getting religious.
Spicier.
I hope that's what happens to me when I
You know,
die in like 2 years. Everyone's gonna be like, he was actually the
2
Antichrist.
years?
Yeah, someone just like.
We weren't going to say anything.
So basically, Nero's job of trying to make himself like a god just turns into he's the devil. He fucking returned or some shit. So basically,
Yeah, but like way later, about when Christianity actually went big time.
when
Christianity blew up
They're
and
hit-
became
they're
famous.
hit-
Christianity
single-
really popped off.
when it went global.
Christianity finally got a top 10.
Oh my god.
Christianity,
Yeah.
Christianity
Alright,
premise hit.
will I do mine now?
But yeah, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe that. I don't think it
The hit
happened.
new single, The New Testament.
I think Nero just went
The hit
too
New
good, to
Testament.
be honest.
I think he just
Nero
fucking
went
died.
too
It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
At the time, I
Definitely,
probably
like-
would have believed it.
Well,
but,
yeah.
yeah, looking back, definitely like 1 or 2. Not just, yeah, no. So who
Can I
wants
do
to
my
go
one now?
next then?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, fine.
Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, so like
Put
You
it
know,
off for as long as we could.
anti-Semitism, right? It's already out to a good start. Anti-Semitism has been around for like hundreds of years, you know, and it's finally cooling off. It's cooled off in the last like century
For now.
in most of the world, but not completely. There's some people, you know, cock porn.
Yes.
No, not
Listen, this is the conspiracy. I'm not going off like on a different thing. This is the conspiracy.
Cock porn.
Just
Guys,
popped
you know I
conspiracy.
really love cock
You know cock porn.
Yeah.
People think that the Jews are running the cock porn.
I agree.
Wait, can we get context?
No, listen.
What the fuck is cock
No,
porn?
listen, and
No, there
you'll
is logic
understand.
behind it.
What is cock
There's
porn
logic.
again?
I have evidence.
Can someone please tell me
All the
what is
Jews,
cock
Not
porn?
all the Jews, but like you know, Jews are generally like considered rich, and so
Yeah.
they get bored with all the money they have, and they're like, nothing excites them anymore, and they're like, what can I do with all this money? I'm gonna hire a black guy to fuck my wife.
Oh, cock porn. Oh my god!
Legit.
No, listen, it goes deeper.
Oh, nice. Nice.
We're only scratching the surface.
There's more in this.
But,
You're only teasing us.
anti-Semitism has gotten so weird. It used to be like you know they killed Jesus and stuff, but now it's they run the cock porn.
They run the
And it's like-
porn industry.
The whole cock porn industry, and it's like the whole thing with Jews is that like you if you're Jewish you shouldn't marry someone a non-Jew. But then but it's supposed to be like the rest of you. Let's have a look at this. It's just a cock porn, you know. I didn't come up with this myself, obviously.
Wait,
Hold up a goddamn second. The marrying different religions being bad is the same with every religion.
I know, but especially with Judaism.
It's especially with like Mormons.
Yeah, but
Well, everyone's leaving Norman. Like, Normans are like being...
Are the Mormons famous for having money?
Yeah. No.
No.
Famous for being really nice and not making porn.
Normans, like,
The Jews
really...
will do anything.
The Jews will do anything for
The Jews will do anything for a quick buck.
Quietly
I'm
looks up
I'm
one.
not
Is
Jews, by the way.
Okay, so guys, what do you think
Okay,
about
wait, I
this
need to
in
explain.
your opinion?
How believable is it, guys?
10.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
first, I
10.
didn't come up with this
No,
myself, obviously.
I
I
doubt.
heard it from, General Sam on YouTube. I always watched his podcast and he talked about this.
Ah, so we're talking
He heard it
podcast
from
now.
somewhere else.
So-
he's
so what you
he's
did-
Jewish himself.
So
He's
what you did,
Jewish himself.
you walked on into our podcast. You plagiarized another one.
Yeah, no, it would have been no, but I
You
just read it
literally
afterwards.
read just an entire Wikipedia page about yours.
Yeah,
Colin. Shut up.
I just went off what I remembered him saying. I didn't
Didn't plagiarize it.
fucking read it. They didn't read it.
Liam seems very fucking ecstatic to read his. So let's.
Wait, you didn't read. You didn't rate how believable it is.
I think it's a solid
think-
7.
You don't need to rate how believable it is. It's obviously true.
Yeah, exactly. 10 out of 10. 10.
10 out of 10.
Remember when...
Yeah.
Okay, this is
no,
like...
11
Remember
out of
when
10
we
is
believed
true.
I
that,
get a
like...
cash prize.
Remember
No.
when we
No.
believed Daniel
No.
was a Jew for some reason?
Dude, that was weird. People in my class think I'm Jewish.
Yeah, I know. For some reason, we all believed Daniel was just a
He asked me
Jew.
if I was. He asked me what like if I believed in God, and I told him I was Jewish. And then he just told everyone I was Jewish. And I was just like, oh. And then everyone thought I was Jewish, and they were like, "Daniel, you Jewish?" And I said no, and they were like,
you were like
"Okay, Daniel."
circumcised or something, or people thought you were.
Sure, you're not.
I legit Daniel thought he was Jewish for so fucking long.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie, same.
Yeah, people
I
thought I was Jewish. It's like I'm just not though. I don't even
I
have a.
thought-
sure,
I
sure.
don't have a big nose.
I thought.
Oh, sorry, talking about another thing.
God, big money sniffing nose.
I had like for some reason years ago I heard that Blake was gay, and I was just like, what?
It's the hair.
Like,
I know
no,
everyone
like,
thought it was gay.
Yeah, it was weird.
You look like a gay
I
dude.
was just told that like they think you're. I was just like, oh, okay, this.
You were like, oh, I'm done with him.
Good instincts.
I'm out.
Okay, Callum. Everybody thinks everybody's gay at some point.
Everyone
But,
thinks
yeah,
that I'm a
there was
murderer.
a big
I'm pretty
thing
sure
that-
people actively think I'm gay in my class.
People still actively do think I'm gay.
A lot of people just...
You
Like, from primary.
from primary, damn. Like I think there was one time when
I think a
When-
couple of people think I'm dead.
It's like Friends when they put it up on the website. It's like Blake
I'm
goes,
gay. I'm dead.
one American every year is killed by a blimp. One American every year is killed by a blimp.
how? Wait, what? How?
He was hit by a blimp. My friend was hit by a blimp and killed.
How was he killed? By a blimp.
He was hit by a blimp. He wasn't. He just
Imagine
mid-air collision with a blimp.
Hey, you know, okay,
It's more common than you would think.
I'm just thinking of this now. But
Which
you know
one
that
every year?
the famous like airship that like caught on fire. What's the name of that? The Hindenburg.
Zeppelin.
I was gonna call it the Heisenberg. but it wasn't.
Hindenburg. What if it was
It
the reason
was a Zeppelin.
It was a Zeppelin.
what if the reason that it blew up was because one dude was skydiving, and he just ran into it, and it just went poof.
That's the real reason.
And this is why Garode isn't allowed to speak.
This wasn't my theory. This is what I'm actually doing. I'll just talk about that right now.
Okay. And so, will I go next? So then.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, the conspiracy theory I'm going to be talking about is that the Queen and the rest of the royal family are actually cannibals. And that's how they're so like young and they live
How
for
they're
so long.
immortal.
So
This is
basically,
one-
how this like kind of
The
works
queen will fake
is
her death
the
in the next
queen.
couple of days.
Damn, that's insane. But the queen is like because how it's prosecuted when people are prosecuted, it's in the
That's
queen's
what I was
name.
gonna ask.
So the queen can't be charged with any crime, meaning that she's able to go around murdering people. You know, it's frowned upon, but it's not illegal.
Frowned upon.
Not gonna lie, I don't really like it when the
Murder
queen
is
kind of
not
kills people.
Great.
I hate it
So
when.
basically, but
Yes,
this
you
is the
can
weird thing:
drive-
cannibalism isn't
Frowned
illegal.
upon.
You know, it's not illegal.
Cannibalism is
frowned
not
upon.
illegal.
It's not illegal in England. So basically,
It's not
only
legal
the
anywhere, I'm
queen-
pretty sure.
Yeah, it's legal in places like most
It's-
places.
It's
Well,
normally what comes before. Normally people kill people and then.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you
basically,
happen to,
Don't
if
care
you
if you
just happen
eat
across,
people, but if you've killed the person that you're eating from, no.
Yeah, that's bad. But
wait,
basically,
hold your horses, fella. Did you kill this guy and eat him? Yes. Well, that's illegal, fella.
No, it's actually him that killed him. I'm just eating him. Oh,
He killed
I see.
himself, and I am eating the crime scene. Like,
okay,
I thought it'll help
basically-
Madeline.
citizen.
I'm merely tampering with the evidence.
fuck's sake.
I'm just adjusting the situation.
Ah.
point
Anyway,
you were
so
gonna
will I-
tell
will I
me.
Turning
go
the
on?
tides.
So basically, because the queen is like able to kill people, you know, and not be prosecuted.
95, I don't think she's able.
Well, you know,
I think she's
She'll
allowed.
probably
well, she
collapse
kills
by the.
people and eats them, so
She has
that gives her
permission.
superpowers.
Anybody can
But she's
kill anyone
able.
with a gun.
Yeah. So basically, she can kill the
Queen with a
people
gun.
and not illegal, and then everyone in the family can eat said person, not illegal. Which means, you know, apparently,
Ah.
if you like, cannibalism is supposed to like give you like you're supposed to take in their life energy. So you know, it's kind of weird that the queen's like what 90 something, and she
She's still a son.
Yeah. Still
she's,
alive.
She's still up and
Still
like
kicking.
fucking.
How would
doing a bunch of shit.
cannibalism fucking
You eat their life energy. It's like
You know-
Dark Souls.
Yeah, you
You
take
know, when
their
they say
life
kick the
energy.
bucket, as
what
in,
about
like-
a guy that's literally 100. What about him? Does
Wait,
he also
yeah,
a
but-
cannibal?
Yeah, but well,
He's probably
he
evil.
could be
How
like.
come all like
could be.
actual cannibals?
could be.
Like, how can all actual cannibals still just not like?
How come they die?
Yeah, how come
Yeah,
they?
good-
don't?
yeah,
they
good
don't
question.
get they don't get the prime meat. They don't get
It's a
the
Wagyu
okay.
program. It's a Wagyu program.
What is the prime meat? What is the prime meat?
I can't imagine there's a lot of prime meat around Westminster. It's people in tracksuits.
Well,
and stuff.
no. If he's like majority of the time, all the cannibals just get arrested for some reason. So like,
Oh, and then they don't have access.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
Credibility
so
100, I
basically,
believe.
the theory goes that the queen kills them and then they like eat them, and that's how the royal
have their
family
way with
tends to
them.
like people tend in the royal family to live longer than the average people, like the average person.
well, like,
Um,
and
Just
also
eat
another
them,
thing, the
like-
reason the queen can't die is that she can't kick the bucket because she gets her servants to kick the bucket for her.
Ho ho.
Ah.
So
Thank
like,
you.
But if you weren't recording, I would kick you.
Yeah, kick your bucket.
Where's,
Bitch.
You ever see that in Blackadder? It's like, what's that? What's that there you have? It's a bullet with my name on it. You see, they say there's a bullet out there with everyone's name on it. But I suppose if I have if I have it, I'm not gonna shoot myself with the bullet, am I? And then that's it. That's the end of the joke. That he has the bullet with his name on it.
Damn.
That was terrible.
I-
Can we cut
I
this
know.
out?
I
Thank you
love.
for introducing.
I was watching Blackadder a while ago, but there was one where he was getting ready to like go by firing squad, and he just gets like a knock on the door, and he's just like, "Are you free, sir?" And then it's just like, let me check my schedule. Wednesday, get shot. Yeah, I think I'm free till then. And it's just
What
like,
the hell is Blackadder?
You don't know what
It's
Blackadder
a stupid
is?
show.
It's like
Right.
this show. It's like this English comedy show. Where it's like, the first 2 seasons, I think, are it's like they're like medieval knights or like lords or something, and then season 2 or season 3 or whatever is like they're generals in an army in World War One, and it's like
Yeah.
Right.
the main guy is the guy Ronan Atkinson, the guy who plays
Oh, Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson, not Ronan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him.
Mr.
And, like,
Bean.
other like comedic English actors just doing funny stuff. in really
Yeah.
serious times.
No, no,
That
it's really,
sounds
it's
pretty
really,
good.
no, it's a classic like British program that like.
Okay.
We were talking about the
Uh,
Queen eating people.
So sorry to interrupt your intriguing conversation, but you're gonna rate said conspiracy.
Well, I
Zero.
believed it before I even
Minus
started
8.
speaking, so 10.
I'm the next victim.
Give
10.
it a-
-8, dude.
I think the conspiracy
10.
should be altered to say that all English people eat people.
Oh my god.
They ate the Irish. That's
More
why they're so.
accurate.
That's why they're so.
Well, like in the
lovers.
famine, there weren't really anything to eat, were there? They're just nomming on bones.
No, munching.
Man.
Nom nom.
That's
All right.
fucking-
Well, I say
so-
my theory.
Yeah,
Munching.
you go next.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Sonic
Good
the
old
Hedgehog
munching
movie.
crunch.
You know when they released the first trailer and Sonic looked like a fucking abomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they
He was
purposely
Sonic
did
with
that
Down
to get
syndrome,
traction.
Just gonna say.
Shut up, Liam. Purposely to get traction. Sorry. Purposely to get traction so that people would be talking about the movie, and they already had the actual one
It was
actor
a
ready,
publicity stunt.
Damn.
just so they could do it.
Whoa.
Because it makes sense, and if they did do it like that, that's a really good marketing scheme. So they
It
Sorry.
would make sense, but I don't think it was that popular anyway. Because I don't know many people who actually went to see it.
I went to
Dude,
see
it's
it.
just
A lot of
you.
people did.
Most people went to see
Apparently, it was mediocre.
Yeah, it is a really mediocre movie.
Yeah.
Well, like,
he does
it's
a lot of flossing.
How were you surprised?
There's only one flaw.
it. This plot- it's-
Where is
there's
it?
only one scene actually.
Yeah, no, they do floss, and it's like it's clearly, it's just a lot of stuff. You know how like they had. I don't think so though with that conspiracy, because I see a lot of fucking with the Sonic. There's a lot of you know how they had to redesign Sonic, so it took a while, but they still kept the scenes, right? So there's a
Yeah.
lot of outdated kind of trends, I guess, in it, like flossing and shit.
Dude,
So,
flossing
I-
will never go out of fashion.
It's the coolest
It
thing.
has
I'm
gone out
fussing
of
right now.
fashion.
It's the coolest thing around. Shut up.
it's
Yeah,
it's the
never mind.
only
I
thing
wouldn't
around.
mind.
It's lit.
Or
Is it-
Rastaman.
Evan.
Evan, that was too far.
I think
I didn't say.
can
You said
we?
it's
And
lit.
I got something.
It
I had a shower thought, but I also got inspiration from Breaking Bad in a way, kind of, not really, but it's like, so well, I gotta start off with like a question for you guys. Do you believe in God, or do you believe in like something out there, or you just pure atheist or shit?
ACS.
I'm
Yeah.
Wait, no, there's a difference between atheist and not believing in God.
Yeah, well, like June.
Yeah, there's like agnostic and stuff. Just
Yeah, that's what he asked. Do you believe in God or a higher power or nothing?
Yeah.
um
So what? So what,
like
guys?
I
Come on.
think. Well, what do you mean by like something else? Do you mean like aliens and that?
No. Do you
No,
think there's a
it's in
higher
like
power
there is an overseeing power that isn't God.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Illuminati
like,
and
it's,
that.
it's like God, but not
No,
how
grow,
God
like
is
it's-
portrayed.
A celestial, like,
No. It's
Like,
like
the Moon Lord.
it's,
Yeah,
okay,
no,
it's
like-
like
like-
God. It's like
like
God.
God from Mars.
Hold on, let me explain. It's like God. It's like
Geralt.
God, right? It's like God.
they created the
Right.
universe
Not-
and everything in it.
Fight
He
God.
controls everything. But
The
he's not as
G-Man!
God as- he's not as God is portrayed. It's not his personality. It's some
God, but not God.
Has a
Hmm.
but like, so what do you guys think? Do you think there's an overseeing power in like, or what? Or,
yeah, probably.
Bro,
I'm not
I
convinced.
hope you didn't see me
There's
what I
probably
did
an
last night.
overseeing. There's probably an overseeing power, but considering we have free will as like, and we can think, the original intent of having this kind of higher power thing was skewed for money.
But like, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck the church.
I feel like there's something out there
Guys,
because
we should go burn a church.
was,
I like alligators in space.
I was watching. I was watching.
The Turtles of Time.
I was watching Breaking Bad, and like Walt
Of course
says
you were.
something about how God has a sick, like taste of humor, sick sense of humor, you know. And it's just kind of like, it's kind of true though, because there's a lot of shit that like
Jews,
a
bird.
lot of coincidences that like lead up to some shit, and it's really like in a sick way, kind of. And it's just like, if he controlled that, he clearly has a very sick sense of humor.
Okay, so with like, I feel like God, is like, if you know the idea that like we were created in the image of God, in like most
Uh-huh.
religions.
Yeah.
I hope
I
God doesn't
feel
record
like
me.
I feel like God is always God is always portrayed as this like perfect being. But I think if we were made in His image, then he's obviously, or it is obviously as flawed as we are as humans.
Or are
Like-
we perfect?
No,
Just the way
heaven's
we are.
just-
Nah.
But there's
yeah,
a lot
heaven's
of
just being self-deprecating. Wow.
there's a lot of I don't believe in God because I feel like there's a lot of contradictions in the church and shit, and it's just like kind of just fuck. But I do believe there is something that because there's a lot. It's just weird because there's there's coincidences, and then there's just too many to a point where you're just like, hold up a minute.
Well, like, okay,
Something's up here.
you can
Something's up.
believe in God without following the idea of God from any specific
Yeah,
religion.
that's what. Yeah, no, I was thinking of that. I was like
I was, so if I was
that's-
ever
that's
to
what I-
believe in a
that's-
god, I would just kind of
Yeah,
accept
that's
that
what I
and not-
that's what I choose
not
to do.
pray to him and devote my life to
Yeah.
him.
if you I sometimes I'm lying in bed. I'm just like I just speak to myself like God.
Yo,
I
God,
don't.
can you, like,
I'm not gonna
me a
worship
break?
you or anything.
Yo,
I'm
you're
not
pretty
gonna
chill.
I'm not gonna worship you or anything, but I do believe in you. So let me join the hip club when I go, please. Just let me fucking join.
I think when like you're hearing like about heaven and hell, when actually like this is actually Catholic like Christianity, they don't tell you everything. I've only learned now about what actually what they say actually happened from the
Watch Mojo video.
no,
and
by
now he's
the
a
American
fucking
priest that
guru.
came to my school. We had American, and what actually happens is that when there's like multiple things that can happen, and I think this is kind of bad. It doesn't make sense. The first one they said is that no matter how you die, if you pray to God in your last moments, you will go to heaven. Which is really bad if you think that a murderer who gets blessed by a priest before they get on their execution chair can go to heaven.
It's not praying; it's asking for forgiveness, Gerald.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but that's the
it's
same
not-
thing. If
you don't pray.
Asking for forgiveness and genuinely meaning it,
a lot of
obviously.
a
You
lot
can't
of
just
people,
be like, forgive me, I don't really care, but like, forgive
Sorry.
me.
yeah, it's
Well,
not
like,
like
it's-
it's not like they do.
This is your
It's like
thing.
the people usually most people do it just as I would probably do it, not because I would believe just be like just to get in.
Just on the off chance. It's like
Yeah.
Sunday's video. He put up
Yeah.
a thing about like, there's no reason to not believe in God because like, you're on like a line or something like that. That was like, okay, so say if there is a God or a heaven and hell, then you'll end up on this side if you've worshipped God or whatever, and you're a good person. If you're a bad person, you'd end up on this other side, right? And then so if there wasn't a God, then you just end up on the other side, wouldn't you? If there is a God, then you would end up on the good side, and therefore there's no reason to kind of not at least give it a chance that there might be a God.
You
Right,
see,
In
okay,
which case
so-
your afterlife would be
Difference
better.
Another-
though between believing in something and just going along with something.
but
Yeah.
but you see,
Yeah.
my mum sees a lot of. My mum works at a nursing home, so she does see people, pass away or like
Fucking dying.
near death. And they do most people, well, no, not most, but some people do like just a priest to come in and then they do their
Give
thing
them their last rites.
because they just like to have that comforting feeling, that just on the off chance, or just the fact that they ask for forgiveness, they let everything out before. They're not holding anything because they've got nothing to lose. They could literally say they murdered 3 people because they're gonna die in 2 seconds. They don't.
Yeah, that's what it was always like deathbed confessions. It's like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, it's but with
That's
confessions,
that's Blake's
You
Boris
survive.
Johnson joke.
Yeah,
The
you
one
just
thing-
make a miraculous recovery.
but
The
just
one
with-
thing that
39
Blake was saying
years
about
old, having
Boris
heart
Johnson.
failure. It's like,
to be honest, confession is probably
Confession is overpowered, dude. Confession
Yeah,
needs a nerf. They need a nerf confession. If you tell a priest you killed 7 people, he swore on my oath not to tell anyone.
Yeah, no, but confession is a lot more
Nerf confession.
probably. It's even better than probably therapy because you know how therapy they have like some rules that they have to say something if like you're planning on hurting. But in
Yeah,
confession, you
it's
could
what-
literally say anything and they can't say
I
shit.
will murder this man.
You ever
I
just
don't think you should really, but
One sec. What if we were to just go and fuck with a load of priests? Like,
No.
just,
I know.
Don't get-
just make their
I've
lives hell.
massacred several hundred families and buried their
I am
corpses around my home.
I am responsible for a bunch of genocides that cannot be recorded in history.
If you visit my home, you'll see like fucking skulls planted on sticks outside my house.
You will see
There
your
are
parents
effigies of
on a
human
stalk.
limbs.
Guys, this got really fucked up really quickly. How did this?
Okay, the other thing I wanted to say about
This is all of our conversations. What are you on about?
I
No,
want
how did it get to? I killed him.
How did we get here?
I don't know. I don't
but
know.
another thing I'd say
God.
is that I did not I did not know anything about purgatory. I thought purgatory was a completely different thing. But he says that when you die, if you weren't like really bad, you would go to hell. But if you were like moderately with a little touch of hell in you,
Kind of just
you,
a prick.
you'd be in purgatory, which essentially it's a cleansing process.
That's where I go.
Yeah.
That's where I'd go. I'd go to purgatory.
I would go
Yeah, I'd
straight
go
to
to
hell.
I'm not a bad person per se, but I'm just a bit of an ass
You
sometimes.
know,
Guys.
also purgatory is like several hundred hours of torture, or several hundred time quantified units of torture.
Kinky.
See, it's very
Well,
mental, you see.
Never mind. I should go to heaven. I'm not that bad.
The thing is, I don't like it. I don't like the Bible or anything it says because like,
Got a bad ending.
no,
Fuck the Bible.
because people just people made it, not God, not Jesus.
The Bible could have been
Random.
written just as a fiction book. You have
fucking-
no proof that it
The
wasn't.
Bible, aka the #1 best-selling fiction book of all time.
Yes,
All we could know, Jim that does the slurry down the farm could have wrote in the fucking Old Testament. Like
I don't think so because it was
don't
written
know.
like 2,000 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Then
Allegedly.
that old Jerry
Allegedly.
that runs the 3 cattle outside of his backyard back in Jerusalem wrote the Bible.
he does.
Allegedly.
Well, that guy's
Allegedly.
poor. How would he afford the paper?
Allegedly.
But
Guys, the brainwashing, the mind control thing by the CIA, the experiment worked. The Bible was actually written by Bob from accounting 4 years ago.
Bob from marketing.
Have you guys watched the film The Accountant?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that is such a fucking disgraceful movie.
Like, it's so
What
weird.
is
It's about
It's
It's,
an
like,
accountant.
it's
Bad name.
basically The Mechanic, or like if you watch The Mechanic,
No.
it's literally the same concept of it's just this guy that's just a really good hitman or whatever. He's really smart and all of this, except
But
the
he's not an
accountant.
accountant.
He's really good with the numbers, but he's just like basically a fucking psychopath. So
This-
something I don't remember what it is that happens. It's like someone he knows dies or something like that. And then he just goes into this fucking murderous rage and like goes and kills a bunch of people. But he's the least intimidating person ever.
the thing is that another thing is that he is
Like,
okay.
Yeah, you can tell because they're literally like the same name: the mechanic, the accountant.
Another thing with The Accountant is that he has OCD, and that's one of the reasons that he researched into the people.
Yeah.
Is because
Yeah, he has
what
OCD,
happened
and then it's like,
is that
this
he
isn't
had all
OCD,
like
and
everything
fucking
done.
dies.
He was about to finish the thumb or whatever it was, and the dudes and they just start they he realized he was close, so they just removed it, and he had OCD, so he'd fucking kill them all. And the only thing I liked about it was the fact that since he had OCD, he would constantly go for headshots.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a.
yeah. It's like a fucking phase member.
It's really fucked.
In the words of Lee
360
Harvey
no-scope.
Oswald, check this sweet no scope.
He's just the
There's other things as well. This is another kind of a conspiracy theory, but it's also just a theory about the JFK assassination. It's like, have you heard of the magic bullet? Oh,
No.
like they shot
No.
twice, but it managed to.
Oh, yeah.
It managed
I heard.
like there was only 2 shots. There was one of the no, there was 3 shots. There was one of them hit JFK in the shoulder. The other one hit him in the head, and then there was another one before them that hit like a governor or something next to him in the shoulder, then down into his thigh, and then out through his knee somehow. And it's called the magic bullet theory. And it's that there was another person who shot.
It
And
was Bob from accounting.
it was a bomb from accounting, but somewhere
He
else.
wrote the Bible short after.
It was James from marketing.
Imagine that
Bob.
there's like two assassins that arrive, and then you think, and then You're like on opposite rooftops, and you see each other, and you just like look at each other, and you're like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?"
Yo, Jimmy, what's up, my year?
No, it's like in
Oh shit, it's Bob! It's Bob!
no, it's like
Like,
in
it's
Nuketown
Bob,
where
it's James! Hi, Bob!
Yeah, it's just like, you're James from
It's like
marketing.
Lee
Oh my
just-
god, you're Bob from
What's like-
accounting. What's
You're
up?
the
Lee just looks out the
accountant,
window at the
yeah,
other guy.
understand
Yo, I
that.
stole your kill, bitch!
Do you wanna join up and write the Bible later?
One sniper looks at the other after JFK was assassinated and like throws up his hands, like, "What the fuck? That was my kill."
And
You stole my kill. I was about to get the UAV, dude. What the fuck?
just like, I just imagine like he picks up the phone and since it was like back then, it would be like it would literally be Call of Duty level mic and be like, "What the fuck? Well, you stole my fucking kill. Fuck you. I don't want another assist. You fucking."
Dude, I nearly got the nuke. What the fuck?
How will the Cubans get avenged now?
Yeah. Oh, but you know, wait. So there was 3 bullets, but there was only 2 shots fired, apparently.
no, I can't remember how. Let me look it up. Oh, I'm not sure, but there's the magic bullet theory. I know that, and that it was
Will
like
now be a short interlude.
how many shots were
Do you know the guy who's next to
Can you just fast forward this bit in
JFK?
post, bro?
Okay.
Not even cut it, just like fast forward us going like doo
assassination?
Or just get fucking.
You know the guy who
Oh,
okay.
3 shots. I was right. It was 3 shots. Okay, let's have a
Okay.
look at like the. Yeah, let's.
You know the
skip
person
forward
who
again. I
was-
have to read this for a minute.
You know the okay. Wow. You know the person who was next to JFK?
Yeah.
What, his
wife.
wife?
His wife.
And there's a different person who was also in the car. But like when they were near JFK and when he actually got hit, they said his head sounded like a watermelon game, but like burst open.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
many
what
people
head
say about it.
Cool.
Because
Sounds
it's a
like.
sniper rifle, God. And
It is
was
literally a .38 of an inch going straight through your skull at high velocity. It's going to crack you open like a coconut. It's not.
The thing is,
I thought it sounded more like a pumpkin.
I've watched the footage like a good few times, and
That's really fucked up.
I always
There's
I
footage?
love
I've never found the footage. One sec.
yeah, it's on YouTube.
That'll be another short
On
interlude.
YouTube.
But like there was
It's in my memes
there was like I watch it and I see the part where he gets shot and instead of the wife being like, oh no, she just fucking yeets out there. She's like, nah.
Yeah, she's
nah,
out of
fuck.
there. She's like, yeah, I saw that. She's like climbing back out of the car, like back to the car.
Isn't he like in the process of saying something to his wife, or like a few seconds before?
I don't know. It's really fucked up.
I don't know.
No, he's like waving at people and then it's just gone.
Huh.
Then he disappears.
Like, it's weird
No.
how JFK
John F.
out of
Houdini.
just out of every president, it was JFK because like yeah, he was in a bad time of history, and he was what's the word? He was
The Cold War. He was like.
no, he was like he was controversial, but he wasn't as controversial as a lot of
No,
like
okay,
good
go on.
presidents, and they haven't been assassinated.
Callum.
It's weird.
So Lee Harvey Oswald was a very like the assassin.
Evan, your mic's done the thing.
It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna say this. Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin,
Oh.
was a very big supporter of the Cubans after the Bay of Pigs invasions, orchestrated by JFK. That's why he was assassinated, because he did the Bay of Pig invasion on Cuba.
Yeah, there's another theory about that. Is that Lee Harvey Oswald? He defected to the USSR. That's like a
Yeah.
fact that he did.
Yeah.
And then people think that he was, I suppose, hired, I guess, by the USSR to assassinate him. But it's very,
I
improbable
doubt
that
it.
that was
I
what
would.
happened.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't see that.
Like it was during the Cold War, sure, but it was also like
It was the
Lee
end of
Harvey
the Cold War.
Oswald was like a mega communist. And
Like,
he
yeah,
defected.
and-
So
like,
he was already before the assassination. He was being watched by the government
Super communist.
because he was like a marine, and so he was like trained with like snipers and stuff. So it was like they wouldn't have him do it because
Yeah,
it's so obvious.
Like the
That'll be the
Russians, like the Russians would I wouldn't see because they did a lot of shit to piss off the US, but killing a president they wouldn't go that far. They wouldn't push it, that far. Especially with I think it was Khrushchev in power or something. It was one of them, and he was trying to reform the USSR in a way, so that he wasn't like Stalin, where he was just like fuck the US. He was more of a guys.
I don't
chill
like the
out.
UN.
Yeah, it's
US not my cup of tea.
not my cup of tea. That's all he was. So I doubt they would truly go to the lengths of killing a US president, especially with the risks of getting caught and like everything like that. So anyway, what did you finally look up? What you were looking up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
God,
So,
his head just goes
there
boom.
was, okay, so one of the shots. Okay, so there were 3 shots fired. Well, canonically, it's not. This actually happened, so it's not canonically. It's officially 3 shots were fired. The first one went into JFK's neck, I think. The second one went into his head and killed him, and then a third one was shot. I don't know if it's in this order, but it was definitely that order for those 2. And then another one was shot at Governor some other guy. I can't remember his name. Fuck.
Governor, or whatever his name is.
Something, I don't know, I can't remember. And
He got shot. Who cares?
he got shot, and just the whole thing is that he was shot somewhere. He was shot in the. Fuck! I'm so confused. No, 3 shots. One of them missed JFK. One of them missed JFK. One of them hit him in the neck, and it went through his neck, and hit the governor guy who was driving the car in front of him. And the shot that went through him, it hit your man in the shoulder. Then it went down to his leg, and then it went out through his knee or something. And it was like, no one can understand how that happened, because it went through 4 different fucking pieces of people.
Yeah, but you see, bullets do that. They ricochet off stuff, and
But not that many times. Not one bullet that many times in that way.
They're probably
Shrapnel,
gonna, like,
bullet could have exploded and it could have been shrapnel.
Yeah, no, there's this
No,
thing
they
called-
found the bullet fully, almost fully intact.
Yeah, no,
That was a
there's
fake
explanation-
one, obviously. Then.
No. There's an explanation for this. There's this thing called yawing, where bullets are made to break in half rather than into shrapnel when they're well made, and then when they break, they split off so that one half goes up a short distance and one half goes down a very long distance. And that's probably what happened. Once it hit his shoulder, it yawed through his shoulder, and
but they found the bullet.
first part broke open. Yeah, no, it would be mostly intact, and then the bigger chunk would like just go straight fucking down.
Wait, let me find a picture of the bullet.
like, wait, how many bullets did they find afterwards? Did they find 2?
They were
bullets?
I don't know. They found one in the sidewalk or something, the one that missed, and they found one of them in the car that had went through Kennedy and the governor, and then the other one they just found that in Kennedy.
So there was 3 shots, but
There were 3 shots, but there's also people who think that there might have been an extra one that they didn't find somehow.
so they're saying there was 4 shots.
Possibly.
So,
Yeah, that's what they think.
But they only had 3 shots.
They only heard 3 shots, and then there's the whole thing. It's like after there's so much commotion that during, all the commotion, all the noise, people running, screaming, there could have been another one that like it was too loud to hear or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Interestingly, we managed to go from
Sound like
conspiracy
the hedgehog.
theories to like other stuff, and then back to conspiracy
No, but
theory
this
without
is-
even intending it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but this is interesting me though. It's like
Yeah,
because like there
I'm not
was
saying it's fucking boring.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Here, look, the picture. I have the picture here, of the
Yeah,
Of the
more
bullet.
stuff for Gro to edit in.
No,
I'm
I'm not gonna edit in, but it's like there's no need because it's
Edit in
literally
the bullet.
it's just the bullet, and it's completely intact. It's not
Can
destroyed.
you actually send it in?
I'm
there's
watching the
like a
video.
name
I'm
Because
constantly
usually
watching.
Usually bullets when they're shot, they never stay intact. That's the thing. No
This-
sniper bullet would stay intact.
This one
no,
to me looks
most
pretty
sniper
intact.
bullets do stay intact.
They
No, like
Yeah.
No.
depends on what
That
they.
is just-
They
that's
move
not-
pretty quick.
That is surprisingly not shot.
Considering that this
That doesn't.
this
that
bullet
doesn't
had
even look shot.
exactly. That's what I mean. It's like it's
There's
in
the-
almost pristine
not even a-
condition.
There's not
Considering
even
that
an
this
end.
allegedly went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, this is it. Okay, the magic bullet. Here it is. It went through Kennedy's neck, down into his knee, and then it somehow apparently turned and went into the governor's right elbow or right shoulder. It's so fucking confusing.
We have to.
Oh,
we
in
have
that
to-
order? Yike. Okay, no, definitely not yawing
No,
or
but
anything.
we have to take into consideration this man was very trained with a sniper, so he would.
Yeah, he
Callum,
just,
Callum, hold up. Being trained with a
But-
sniper
yeah,
doesn't
but
mean
no,
you can turn
but, like,
bullets 180
bullets
midair.
don't-
Bro, look at this
Wait,
trick
It's
shot.
the Matrix.
No,
Look,
but you-
that's allegedly. That's the way the bullets went. The one in the back, the one on the left is Kennedy. The one on the right is the governor.
Okay. Now that I'm watching the video, this makes a lot of sense.
But you talk to some souls that they say like fucking bullets fly through your body going everywhere. They're designed to tear you up.
Yeah, you ever
It's
see?
like when you
ever
throw a
see,
bowling ball at a curve and it spins and goes in a different
no,
direction.
Like you
Okay.
are,
Like great
you are
analogy.
just genius.
You just spin the bullet before you shoot it, obviously.
Guys, you
Like the one-
you know Mortal Kombat 10. You know Aaron
course.
Black's fatality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where, like,
Yeah.
the bullet, it like that like
Mind
it's
control
That's-
of
that's
the
like
bullet.
that's
That's
funny.
this.
It's funny to think about, but that could have actually been the reason. It
It
literally
was actually
deflecting off
Aaron Black
people's
being
bones.
assassinated.
No,
Aaron
it's
But
literally.
how? Tell
Isn't
me-
Aaron Black meant to be an assassin who was alive since like the 1800s? Because you've got like cursed or something. Isn't that
I
like
don't
Aaron,
know.
Aaron Black's lore? He's a cowboy and he was cursed with a like long-lasting life. Or
But give me just how the hell would someone have shot in his knee anyway if it didn't go through his body?
he was up really tall in a big building looking down.
You know, honestly,
well,
I
yeah,
don't
I
think we're
know.
gonna figure this out, seeing as it's been.
We're not gonna figure
being
this out.
debated.
Well, I'm watching the
Yeah,
video
so
multiple
there's,
times, and I'm looking at when he
yeah.
gets shot, and it doesn't look like it actually does go down. It looks like it goes straight. Like if you're watching, it goes straight through from his head. You
He's
see
just
the
watching
the
JFK
remnants
get
come out,
assassinated right now.
and then you see the other governor just bend down because they got shot in the leg. I don't think it hit his leg. I think it just went straight through, and
Well,
maybe it might have been
it
like
Just
a.
said he bent down because he got shot in the leg.
Well, no, if you get shot down in your leg,
Sitting
it's like,
down,
oh
kinda like
fuck, I
leaned
got
over.
shot in the
It's like-
fucking
it's like
leg.
GTA when you hold A in a car and you're gonna. You know.
Well, a lot of the time, well, yeah, no, like he could have done that, or he could just be fucking reaching for a gun, maybe that.
Or
Why would he
ducking.
be reaching for a gun?
Or yeah, or
No, he
or
definitely
more than
got shot.
More than likely ducking, because a lot of the time people don't notice when they've been shot. At first, they usually go through like a stage of shock before. You've seen in movies when they're like, "Yeah, I'm fine," and then they look down and they're bleeding,
It's like, I ain't got
Like,
time to
oh.
bleed.
because they're going through like a shock phase before they realize, and then it heats up or something. I don't know. I'm not fucking. I
You know,
haven't been
guys,
shot. I'm not an expert. In
I
it.
think we've been going long enough. I think we should probably start ending it.
Why'd you gotta kill this, Liam? Huh? Why'd you gotta?
Because we've been going
A
for
really weird
like,
conversation
an hour.
talking about the fucking magic bullet theory, the single bullet theory. Sometimes apparently it's also called the single bullet theory.
I doubt there was a single.
Oh yeah,
bullet.
but in that image as well, if Gro can edit this in, Kennedy on the left is elevated a bit because that's the way the what's the word called for when they're going around?
Oh, it's just higher. Just so to see.
I don't know.
Boost the
Suspension.
seat. He's pretty small.
I don't know.
Suspension.
I don't know. Like it doesn't matter. Like in the
Yo, his thing was bouncing.
He got that grip with the hydraulics on the seat.
Cadillac with like the hydraulics.
And this goes back to God. Why did he make it so that he got shot?
Oh
through
my
the
God.
bullet into his
Is that
leg?
actually what we're talking about?
He was
That-
really. God is really communist.
That was how God proved his existence. He made
Mhm.
the bullet that
Single
assassinated
bullet.
JFK fly
Hey
about the place.
guys, what political like part do you think God would be?
Communist. 100% communist.
Full, I'm thinking full authoritarian, to be honest.
No, probably a centrist. You just whatever.
Well,
Anarchist.
I don't know. Fucking.
probably.
I'm
Anyway,
for life.
I am on long levels
I
of
think
God.
that's enough for one episode. So remember.
That's what it's called, the motorcade.
Yep.
Motorcade cars. Motorcade cars. Since the
Anyway.
president was sitting in the back and he wanted everyone to be able to see him and stuff, he's
Yep.
elevated so he could wave and look around. That's
And
why he's
also-
elevated. And that's
and-
how.
Oh,
it's
there's a
somehow-
video! One sec.
Bye,
Can we
guys.
continue this topic? One sec. I'm just watching the video. Of like where the bullet actually went.
Okay, Road, you're not going to figure out where the fucking bullet went by watching a 140p video, okay?
Yeah.
No, this is an actual video where they actually animated it.
What?
Sick.
Oh, you're watching that. You're gonna have to wait. Anyway, remember to like and subscribe. And bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, people.
Bye.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow my Twitch. Bye.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.